Guys, thanks again for being willing to help with providing your thoughts and experiences in a Vistage peer group, especially for key exec or senior executives, CEOs, COOs, and the like. Let's start by introducing yourselves, and I'll go top left. Jim, Dobbie, tell us about yourself and
Yeah,
your
great.
company.
Thanks, Michael. Jim Dobbie, founder, CEO of Zeal for Living. We're a developer, a real estate developer, developing apartment projects in Colorado and in Texas. And I've been, with Michael's Vistage group for, gosh, almost 2 years now, and really, it's really working out well.
Thanks, Jim. Taj, how about you?
Yeah, Taj Capozzola, co-founder and CEO of Harness Energy. We provide resource measurement solutions to utility scale wind and solar developers and operators around the US and some international. Um, Also been in the group for about 2 years now. And so excited to be here chatting with you all.
Thanks, Taj. Ezra.
Hi, guys. I'm Ezra Gardner. I'm the co-founder and CIO of Verana Capital. We're a venture capital firm that focuses on investing in Israeli technology with offices here in Denver and Tel Aviv. And I'm starting my second year now in the Vistage Group.
Awesome. Really glad to have you all. So just to set the tone, Vistage is an organization that provides opportunities for CEOs and COOs to gather together in a peer forum that's facilitated by a chair. That's me. That's what I do. And it gives people an opportunity to sit around with a group of 12 to 15 other people that are in similar roles to them. So a peer group, and talk about issues of the day, topics of the day, hear from expert speakers on topics that are relevant to the group, and really develop relationships and develop a network that helps them to become more effective leaders, make better decisions, and produce better results. That's what we do in a Vistage peer group. And I've asked these three of the 15 members in our group to provide some of their thoughts and experiences being in this group, so that people who are looking at or interested in being in a peer group can hear from people that are in it, what their experience is. And I've got a few questions that I've prepared. So I'll ask those questions, but let's just have a conversation. Whatever comes to mind for you, please feel free to share. So first question is, what are the key factors that make this peer group valuable to you compared with other forms of professional development? For example, there are a lot of online leadership type programs. Some of you have other individual coaching relationships, but peer groups are unique opportunities. Talk about that for a minute.
I can start. Let's see. So I've worked with coaches before, and I've obviously taken a lot of webinars, as haven't we all? And I'd say what's unique about Vistage and unique about our group is, it's just a continual conversation and assessment, and ability to have a sounding board for what's going on at your business, hearing about other people's businesses and their issues. And it's funny because here I am, a real estate guy. Taj is in a completely different environment, and but we have some of the same issues across our companies. So we can talk about things and learn things from each other, which it's nice to have a group of over a dozen folks to be able to have a sounding board, because Michael, is as much as I enjoy our monthly one-to-ones, you're just one perspective, and I enjoy getting the perspectives of all of my fellow members in our group.
Yeah, well said, Jim. I've always thought that you can learn a little bit from a book, and you can have another experience with an individual coach, but the peer group is really the penultimate of leadership growth and issue solving and relationship building as a peer.
Yeah. I think, I think the being able to go through things together with other people that are going through similar experiences is huge for me. And I think, as you mentioned, there's a lot of different channels in which we can learn and grow and, have various resources at our disposal, but bringing all those together and being able to beat ideas up together, being able to expand what kind of resources we have access to, layer in the different experiences and perspective. It really is the culmination of everything at your fingertips.
And I can maybe offer a compare and contrast to leadership training at companies. I was formerly in a leadership role at a Fortune 500 company where people were required sometimes, but sometimes offered the opportunity to go to leadership training courses. And Vistage Peer Group is nothing like that, because it is about the network. It's about the peer element. When you end up at a Fortune 500 company or you do a course online, you may get some leadership training tidbits or advice, but it's not working together with a consistent peer group. And that was one of the things that I was looking for, and I think I found joining Vistage.
Yeah.
Those are great perspectives. And I like what each of you really touched on. There's both tangible and intangible benefits to being in a peer group. So there may have been a particular issue that's been addressed that you faced that really you can get one perspective from a team internally from your leadership team. It's often I've heard members say that they're pre-processing issues with their peer group before they sit down with their leadership team and review those. I think the unbiased aspect of feedback from your peer group seems pretty valuable. What are some of the either tangible or intangible benefits that each of you has experienced personally?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in first on this one. I think I've had the privilege and opportunity to bring a number of different issues or strategies to the team throughout the past couple of years, and a lot of times it's been specific things that we're struggling with as a company or really have been beating around as a leadership team. And because we are confined to our experience and our place in the market and what we think about every day, we tend to have blinders on when it comes to certain things. And so it's been amazing to bring those issues to the group and be able to get the 12 different perspectives from different industries and really allow us to poke holes or spotlight items that we weren't thinking of because of how our biases are shading the way we look at things and what we're looking at. So we found that to be invaluable and have really opened up the way that we can and improve the way that we can make decisions, and I think have both created new opportunities, but maybe on the flip side, and maybe even more importantly, helped us avoid some big mistakes that we could have made along the way.
You bring up an interesting point, is your own personal biases as well as your team. We all have blind spots, and it's good to get feedback from others who are willing to challenge you, who don't really have an emotional stake or financial stake in your business. And, frankly, aren't concerned that something they say might impact negatively on their career, which, in most cases is not the case on a leadership team, but it's always cycling in the back of someone's mind.
Well, I don't know if it's the concept of impacting your career, but there's definitely times when you would like to discuss an opportunity or a challenge with someone outside of your organization. And I think really the only way that you can do that is by first building trust with the group of people to do that. And you can't build trust with a group of people by, going to a conference or going to an online forum. You have to spend time and put in the work to get to know people on a regular basis. And then you have kind of that outside advisory board, which allows you to maybe say things you wouldn't say into an internal advisory board.
Yeah, that trust factor is key. Thanks for bringing that out, Ezra. Jim, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, just jumping on what Ezra was saying, it's very much a safe environment, and we try to make sure that it stays that way. And so, for example, our pretty consistent use of issue processing at the end of every day, or at the end of every meeting, where people put on the parking lot issues that we're dealing with, and just a methodical process where the full open kimono, I've got this problem, and maybe it's a self-inflicted wound, or maybe it's a rogue employee, or maybe it's a partner who's just squeaky wheel, or maybe we're the squeaky wheel. But it's a pretty much open kimono. Here's my issue. This is what I'm facing, and I could use a sounding board, like Ezra was saying, and now you get 12 very qualified viewpoints and lines of questioning that might be pulling out the blind spots, or pulling out solutions that you've never thought of yourself. So I'd say out of our structure, through the meetings, that's one of the aspects that I find very valuable.
And even if you have an internal board or advisory or executive team that you're comfortable saying anything to, a third party outside perspective that's looking at something with a fresh pair of eyes is always valuable in every situation.
Yeah, even if they're not experts in your particular industry, a lot of business problems are similar from industry to industry. But there are areas of expertise that each member brings to the table in one of these peer groups. And so, Jim, what you said is interesting. You got to come with being open and honest, and a willingness to be vulnerable, and allow people to contribute to your success, to challenge your thinking and question your answers. But it's also an opportunity for each of the members to do that with the others sitting around the table. And so, and we all learn from that, from both of those perspectives. But talk a little bit about I guess uh, the feeling you get when you have an opportunity to contribute to someone else based on experiences that you've had in the business world.
Well, just jumping back to what Ezra says, you got to put in the work in order to build the trust. And so, it's funny, I can just see, now that I've been here for 2 years and we've had some new members come in, it takes a couple meetings for them to warm up and to understand the dynamics, and to understand that, hey, this is a safe place. I can talk about my mess ups, or I can talk about problems that I don't have a solution for. And I don't need to know everything. And so yeah, so it does take some time for people to warm up and to get going. And that's, I think, one of the nice things about the program, or the Vistage, is it just monthly we're getting together, we're going through it, we're building we're building the rapport, we're building the trust, and then, you know, the beers and cocktails at the end is always nice too. Or the fishing.
Yeah, perfect. We do some fun adventures together as well.
That's right.
No, I mean, helping always feels good. But think about it this way. Feels good to help a stranger. It feels better to help a friend. So think of the Vistage
Yeah.
members in your group as your business friends.
Yeah. I'll throw on that, I think issue processing and problem solving is a skill. And I think it's been really valuable for me to be going through that process with a group of highly experienced, effective people that have a lot of experience processing issues and solving problems. And so you learn a lot about what questions to ask, how to dig into things, how to get to root cause, how to do that effectively. And so I think I've been able to stretch myself in that way, grow a little bit, and then be able to take that back to the team as well and influence how we are continuing to solve problems and process issues as an organization outside of this world.
Yeah, very good. We as part of these monthly meetings, about 5 or 6 times a year, we'll have a speaker come in and do a workshop on a particular topic. And we've had more, speakers on effective communications. We've had speakers on being a more effective CEO, employee engagement as a strategy, strategic planning topics. Is there anything in particular from any of the speakers that we've had in 2024 that resonated with you, that helped you to be a more effective leader and had a positive impact on the performance of your company?
I'll jump in, which will surprise you, Michael. But there was one speaker in particular that did have a big impact on me. It was the person that was teaching the positive intelligence course. And as a result of that, not only have I gone and read the book, but I'm like 6 books deep now down this runway of trying to adopt that into both my professional and personal life. So that was an interesting one for me.
Yeah, you're right, Ezra. I am a little surprised. I didn't expect you to be the first one to jump in. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, we've definitely talked about hiring. Had some folks come in to talk about hiring, and so there's been some, what I like is these speakers always give us a good toolbox, and leave behinds and worksheets and things like that. And so I've been able to use some of these worksheets, distribute them to some of my key executives, and really, up their game pretty quickly and easily without spending a lot of money to send them to a training. And for my company's 3 years old, so it just helps adding some structure and methodology at these early days. So those leave behinds and have been really helpful for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think,
Anything jump
yeah,
out for you?
I think it was our last meeting and just a big recruiting and hiring topic, and which has been top of mind for us as we are growing pretty rapidly and trying to hire people on a weekly basis. And so some really great tools that I took back to the group that we were able to implement immediately, just around, tweaking our process and figuring out, just how we find the right people, make the right decisions when it comes to recruiting and hiring.
Yeah, excellent. That was employee engagement as the number one strategy. So I think for the last question, if you were talking with someone that was interested in being in or thinking about being in a executive peer advisory group, what would you say to them in terms of how they should be thinking about it?
Well, you should be of the mindset that you want to improve and get better. You should be a person that's open-minded to, sharing and also being willing to discuss important issues. And I think that, you should be interested in getting to know different perspectives. And if you check any of those boxes, then this is going to be great for you.
I've said to a number of prospective candidates, member candidates that I've been speaking with, that the value, a lot of people look at, well, if I'm going to be involved in a peer group, can you describe the value for me? And it's really hard for people to just have the value shared with them like a feature and benefit. And I've said to them, this is a value that you'll experience once you're in the group, in the conversation. It's not really something that I could describe for you and you really grasp it. Would you say that that's true?
Not exactly. I mean, it's going to be specific to every person, but it's about improving issue processing, improving leadership skills, improving decision making. That's what the value is. The value is, if you were to take out a piece of paper and write down, what are the 5 most challenging things in my business right now, or recurring things that happen in my business. Okay. The value is improving those 5 things. That's the value. You define it. Write down the 5 challenges or the 5 opportunities. Write down 5 of each. The value is those 10 things.
Yeah, that's great. And I appreciate you challenging my assumption there.
Wouldn't expect anything else from Ezra.
Right on.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, Michael, I'd say, you can pay, X amount of dollars and go to a conference and sit there and get spoken to all day long and jump on the airplane, come home, and maybe you retain a nugget. And so that's not what we're doing. I think, really it's going to take 3 months to start to kind of get your feet wet. 6 months, you start to really get in the groove with the whole gang. And so, it's a commitment. And, if you're talking to somebody and they say, I'll come and I'll hang out for a couple meetings and see if I like it or not. It's like, well, I don't know if you've got enough conviction. I'd say maybe go talk to a couple of the members one-on-one, and then come back, because it also, it dings our trust of the group too. If somebody comes in and is a fly on the wall, a voyeur, and watching the rest of us, kind of get open kimono, right? And then they're gone.
Has that ever happened? How many times has that happened that someone came? It's never happened, right?
You're
No,
right.
our group has been very stable. I mean,
Yeah.
once somebody gets in, they're in, unless a life event happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I always say, come for 3 months. It's month to month for the first 3 months. Come and experience it, and nobody opts out after 3 months. You've never had that. I've never experienced that in 3 years.
Michael, wouldn't you even go a step further and say, if someone crosses the Rubicon to decide to come to the first meeting, they're in it then? Because like I said, it's never happened that someone came to a meeting and said, this is totally what I didn't want. If they've taken the time to talk to you, to maybe have a coffee or a lunch with a couple of the other members, and they make the decision to come, it's pretty self-selecting. So, I'm not fearful. I was fearful the first time that I came to the meeting, so I was, more quiet, but I'm not fearful of inviting someone else into the group and worried that they're just going to come and listen to us for a month and then leave. That doesn't worry me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fairly important decision, and most, if not all of the folks that we've talked to, that expressed interest, um, I don't believe are the type of people that would, come in for a couple of meetings and then opt out. They make
You
that
probably
decision
wouldn't
and they
invite
commit to
them.
it.
You probably wouldn't invite them then.
I probably wouldn't. You're right. Uh, any last thoughts?
If I'll throw in, I think for me, as we're on this like leadership journey and growth journey, we're pushing ourselves into uncomfortable positions, and that can be scary, and I think where I found the most value in this is that because you're in a room of people that are all pushing yourselves, they're all being pushed and they're all feeling uncomfortable on a daily basis, it suddenly makes that space feel comfortable. And so it it provides this kind of space to breathe and be like, oh, like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. We're all doing this together. Like, I'm not on this island. So that's so if people are trying to grow and they need, right, they want to feel like they're not alone and they want to feel like they're on the right path and they're ready to, like, I come from a background of working like construction in the field, and it was all about going through really hard things with people next to you. And right when you got through that together and you look back on it, you can tell great stories because of what you achieved as a group and what you achieved together. And you're going to tell those stories for years and years to come. So I get that kind of same satisfaction when we can come together and experience that as one.
Great comparison. Anything else?
All good.
Guys, I so appreciate your thoughts, sharing your experiences. Wonderful conversation. Look forward to seeing you at the November meeting.
Thanks.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. See you guys.